I went to Bethune-Cookman University in Daytona, Florida. It's a HBCU, and I got really sick there, so I left and went back to New York. And while I was in New York, I decided my family at that time had already made a decision to move to South Florida. But I did not want to live in Florida and was really I truly believed that I needed to be able to make it on my own in New York. I mean, isn't that what Frank Sinatra said? If you can make it here, you'll make it anywhere. And I needed to be able to do that, to believe enough in myself that I could even decide to go anywhere else. And so that's what I did. And it was really tough. I mean, I still had my grandmother and my uncles, but my mom and my like core support system wasn't there with me. And it was really rough for a while, but I did, make it the best I can. And um, I started working at CBS Radio, and I was stalked this lady at CBS for over a year. I had went in for like an executive position, didn't get that position, but she really liked me. And, mistakenly said to me, keep in contact with me, call me whenever, let's stay in touch. And I took that very seriously. I called her almost every Friday. Then I would call her on Mother's Day to tell her Happy Mother's Day, Merry Christmas if there was a holiday. For an entire year, I called this woman just to, have small talk. And then one day I called and she said, Hey, I'm glad you called today. I've been waiting for you to call me back. There's a position and there's someone I want you to meet. And so I come in and I thought I was going into just to meet someone or get invited to come back for an interview, but they pretty much hired me on the spot as a news desk assistant. And so here I was at CBS in Black Rock, uh, in my dream. Like I have wanted to, get into journalism at this time for so long. And it was so difficult for me to finish school and have this illness. I was in and out the hospital. There were times that I distinctly remember coming like on my way to work, but I'm sick. So I would go to the ER right there on Harlem Hospital. I would go to the ER, get infusion and pain medicine, and then get like leave in time to head to work. I think I had to be to work at like 5 in the morning or something like that. I don't even know. I don't think I could function at this. Now that I'm old, I'm like, I have no idea. Youth is definitely wasted on the young because I could not believe that I'm doing this. Like when I think about how many times I had done that and had no sleep or taken double and triple shifts, like I was obsessed with this job. I enjoyed it so much. I wanted to be there all the time. And I got to work with some amazing people. At the time, like this was like, the early 2000s. So Martha Stewart was still doing her like Martha Stewart living on the radio. She's a very scary lady to answer the phone for, but we did it. It was great. It was great to just be around a lot of these amazing um, newscasters and politicians and just really learn. And there was a woman that worked there as a reporter. And I thought at the time what I wanted was to become a reporter. And watching the producers in the studio made me realize these are the people that make the decisions. The reporters would be pounding the pavement, getting great stories. And if the producer said this story is of no interest to the public, it will never see the light of day. We will never hear about it. And I realized, especially, the way sometimes people make these decisions were very unfair. And I was like, okay, this is where the power lies and where I could really make a difference. So I started looking into more how to become a producer, how to be a producer in the studio. Um, and one thing I'll say about CBS was the only job I had ever had that knew, they knew about my illness and they completely supported me. Within 2 weeks of me working, I was still in training. I ended up having double pneumonia and was in the hospital for over a month. And they never let me go. They actually, reached out to my grandmother to let her know and to tell me that, they're praying for me and that my job will be secure when I get out. Because it was devastating at that time for me to be like, I just finally get this job I've been dreaming about, and here is this illness wearing its ugly head as it usually does, and now I'm in the hospital. And I was like, I've lost my chance. I just got it. So to know that, I could just focus on getting better, and that my job was there waiting for me was enough. But then when I got back to work, I'm checking like the in-office email, and there were all these emails. I mean, I don't even know if I was there long enough for people to know who I was, but there was an email blast about, our coworkers in the hospital. Please send, your thoughts. And I just thought that that was really very special and really made me appreciate the culture of that office. And so it was always something that I hold on to and keep. And it stayed that way for quite some time until I guess there were changing of arms, and I did finally get the opportunity to become a news writer. And while I was doing that, there was a lot of changing, a lot of, well, this is the way we want you to tell the story, or this is how we want you to lean the story. And I, like I said, have so much love for journalism and appreciate the creativity and the art that journalism is. I really didn't want to ruin my reputation, but I had to step away because it wasn't fun anymore. It wasn't what it was supposed to be. And yellow news, I don't know if you know what yellow news is, but it has become completely yellow. It's like lime green Gatorade at this point. Like it's just not news. It's not how we were taught. Like even the language of phonetically, you know, wording certain things, it's all been thrown to the wayside, and it's very sad. I'm very curious to know what students are learning today. Because I had to learn how to literally write phonetically names, countries, and things like that. There's a way to write the news that the reporter is reading. And the things that I see people doing, there's no way that that's happening. That's not happening anymore. So, and that has been a part of journalism since I wasn't in the 50s, but I'm assuming these have been things that have been a part of journalism since the beginning. And to see it just disappear because, certain people didn't like the way they appeared or whatever it was. It's just ridiculous. But I digress on that. And that's what made me decide to turn to documentarian work. Um, I thought to myself, it's a lot like journalism. I'm asking, the five W's and doing research and getting the answers. And it can lean, but it's something that, a lot of people, it's very easy to know if it is leaning and if you'll get any value from the content. So, and that's what I did. I started doing documentaries that were close to my heart, something that I could do. I did a documentary about myself and sickle cell, and it was really more of a call of action film of this is something that's happening in the community. Some people are dying. Some people are realizing that one day they're going to die from this if something doesn't change. And what can we do about it? And I'm really blessed and amazed at how, PBS picked up on it and so many people were impacted by it. And it has really taken my career into a trajectory that I really couldn't have imagined. I really feel that honestly, Raymond, when I think about where I came from, it's like I knew I wanted to write, I wanted to create films. I didn't know how to put those into words because I didn't know that's something that I could do. I never seen people behind the scenes that look like me or when it comes to being a woman, comes to being black, comes to being disabled. I wasn't seeing those things. So it was like, how could I do it? Even when I see someone like Shonda Rhimes, I'm like, yes, Shonda Rhimes, Issa Rae, fine. I've seen a black woman. Now I know I can do that. But then I have to think, but can a black woman like me do that? Because I have a chronic illness that I have to really consider when I'm trying to do certain things. Like there's no way I could, if a project took me to the Swiss Alps, I couldn't do it. If someone said, "Hey, we're going to give you Game of Thrones, part 3, no budget, do what you want." I can't do it. Like physically, can I do these things? How can I make these things happen for me? Because I haven't seen anyone else do it. Then I have to kind of be the person that is creating the table and really just expand my imagination to a level that I don't know, can I do it? I've been doing it the best I can. But for example, I once had a fellowship, and at the end of the fellowship, everyone was asked who they would like as a mentor, not a specific person, just someone. And there was a fellowship around disability. So I think a lot of people ask for, hey, I am a blind person, or I am a deaf person, or someone that is in a wheelchair, and I know that this person has done this, or this person has supported this thing. I would like to have someone in this community be a mentor to me that's in the industry. I specifically asked for someone with sickle cell in the industry. And they were like, we have tried. Like they really came back to me and was like, we have been trying our hardest to find someone and we cannot find them. And they were like, this is a good thing and a bad thing. Like it's bad because yeah, we can't find it, but you are about to be the change in this industry that other people like you need. And it's like it's heavy. It's a heavy burden, and I don't believe that we don't exist in the industry. I mean, like I told you before, 100,000 babies are born with sickle cell every year. There's no way, with the amount of people that we have in the industry, people of color, and also people that are not African American also have this illness. There's no way that they're not there. But there is a reason that, we are hiding or that we don't want to outly express that we have these challenges because it can be used against us. I've been in that situation as well. So it's just a really hard place to be able to make that um, step and be that leader when I'm also looking for that myself, But that's where I find myself in now, this leadership role that a lot of people do look up to me and appreciate that the work that I have done in the industry so far. And I do appreciate that. I do. And I kind of just trust God that wherever I may not have or need someone that I can lean on and have mentorship with, but I do have him, and that is, I guess, at this point, all that I need. I'm doing well.